Funny. Yeah, just one thing before we go ahead and get started with this presentation. I know somebody mentioned the links for the expo hall are not working. I did just find out about that, so I apologize for that. I'll have to go in this afternoon and get those links to start working again. I think there's just something in the background didn't save of the website, so hopefully those will be back up and running fairly soon. So I apologize for any inconvenience for that. But so we're just going to go ahead and get started with our next speaker. So we have Jessica Smith here today. She is she has her bachelor's in social work, and she is the director of communications for Your Life of Wildwood. So she has about 12 years of experience working in healthcare and senior living. So she is going to be talking today about dealing with dementia and being a caregiver during the holidays. So thanks for joining us, Jessica, and I'll let you go ahead and get started.
Great, thank you, Sam. Will, if there are questions or engagement throughout the presentation, will you be letting me know that I need to stop and answer a question?
Yeah, definitely. So we'll have a few minutes towards the end to go ahead and answer questions, but if anybody has questions, just feel free to add those into the chat and we'll talk about them towards the end of the presentation.
Okay, great. Thank you. So like Sam said, my name is Jessica, and I am currently the Director of Community Relations here at Your Life of Wildwood. We are a community that is an assisted living, but we specialize in memory care needs and dementia disorders for all of our residents who live here. My background in social work has always been in geriatrics, and I like to say that I was born for this role because I have had the privilege of being raised by a gentleman who had my sister and I much later in his life. So I currently help care for my father, who is 84 years old, and also work in the industry as well. So looking forward to the holidays. We all have definitely experienced a year like I don't think anybody could have put down on paper what we've been working through and working with as an industry, as individuals, as it relates to COVID. We are getting better at presentations such as this on Zooms, but we definitely do missing live audiences while we're sharing information for sure. I'm going to take at this time to share my screen. I'm going to be pulling up a PowerPoint. Sam, are you able to see our PowerPoint at this time?
No, I'm not. So if you go ahead and try it again, I might need to give you permission. So try it again and we'll go from there.
Okay. How is it working now? Sam, are you seeing it at this time?
Yes.
Okay,
We
perfect.
can see it.
All right, well, we'll get started. The holidays are a time when family and friends often come together, but for families that are living with Alzheimer's and other dementias, the holidays can be so very challenging. My goal for this informational session is to allow for you guys to kind of take a deep breath and understand that with some planning and adjusted expectations, celebrations during the holidays can still be a happy and memorable occasion. Remember that the holidays are to celebrate getting through hard times together and prompt us to be compassionate. I think that in the year of 2020, we know the importance of family, and happiness and health are even more important to most of us this year in particular, considering all of the things that we have been through together. Next big event is going to be Thanksgiving, and that's intended to remind us to show gratefulness in the everyday and the good things that we do have happening in our lives and with our families. And holidays like Christmas and Hanukkah bring families together in the spirit of giving, and again, to have that human warmth of time and attention. And then right around the corner from Christmas would be New Year's, and that's to celebrate a time of letting go of the past and looking forward to making a better future. Being a caregiver for a loved one that has dementia, that really relates to this spirit of looking after one another in difficult times, because this honors the best in us. The key lies in having fun and not stressing yourselves out too much. Emotions are always running high for everyone during the holidays, and that can cause additional stress. Given all of the additional things that everyone is trying to accomplish, schedules vary, and that can change unexpectedly, causing problems for a person with dementia. They need to maintain a regular routine as much as possible. Travel becomes a concern as visits with families and friends become more frequent. And over the all, holiday times are louder, busier, and can lead to overstimulation for a person with dementia or memory care issues. The regular influx of unfamiliar places and people can be extremely overwhelming for somebody with Alzheimer's as well. Both the person with dementia and the caregiver face different types of stress during the holidays. It is important to control all of the stress as much as possible and to make the holidays enjoyable for everyone. For the person with dementia, they may be overwhelmed or irritated with all of the change in a normal routine, an increased level of both noise, people, and overall stimulation. If they're in the earlier stages, excuse me, of the disease, they may also have anxiety about keeping their disease private. They may be worried about acting strangely or want to be deflecting from some of the changes that they may be experiencing. For the caregiver, stress is primarily coming from the added responsibilities that the holidays bring. In addition to the thought of having guests during the holidays or traveling to another's home may be stressful as well. We will be talking about the ways to help manage these items specifically. Read the comic strip here that this year we are having a stress-free Thanksgiving dinner, and I stuffed the turkey with Prozac. One way to limit the stress during the holidays is find the humor in the day-to-day instances that may happen. Focusing on the negative is not going to help keep the stress down and the anxiety down for both the recipient or the caregiver. The first step to help ease your stress is understanding caregiving responsibilities layered with the holiday traditions and added responsibilities can really take a toll on you. We have to give ourselves permission to just be human and know that we as humans are fallible and we get stressed out and things can be confusing. But you need to be honest and you need to be candid with your family and friends about your loved one's condition and your concerns. Don't hesitate to ask for their support during the busy time for everyone, and having them help you is a big key to that. Call a family meeting to discuss upcoming holiday plans. Use this season of giving as an opportunity to discuss sharing this family responsibility and to strive to have family togetherness. Make sure that everyone understands your caregiving situation and has realistic expectations about what you can do. Consider both the individual with dementia, what they are capable of, and what you as a caregiver can handle given your demanding role. Then put celebrations into manageable proportions. This can help decrease stress and head off feelings of depression that stem from unrealistic expectations, both for you and your loved one. With around-the-clock caregiving, it may not be feasible to juggle all of your religious and ethnic observations. You can still keep traditions alive, just reduce their number to avoid feeling overwhelmed and frustrated. Ask your loved ones which traditions to choose. It's a great way to involve them. Even though they may not recall later on, making the effort reinforces the fact that you care what is important to them, and it will make you feel that you're being the best caregiver that you can be. Give yourself permission to do only what you can reasonably manage. You know how many hours you have in a day, how many hours of those are spent directly doing caregiving activities for the person with dementia. Even if evening confusion and agitation are a problem, consider altering the time that you celebrate some of those family traditions. So instead of doing a dinner, do a holiday lunch or a brunch. If you keep the celebration at night, keep the room well lit and try to avoid any known triggers. Let others contribute. Instead of you as a caregiver doing all of the planning and the preparation, maybe have everyone pitch in and do like a potluck instead of one person having to continue on with the family traditions. Since crowds, noise, and altering routines can aggravate confusion and other behavioral problems, revisiting your get-togethers may be in order. For example, instead of entertaining the whole clan, limit the number of attendees at the holiday dinner, or spread it out in several gatherings on different days. Mark a calendar with upcoming visits to make sure your loved one feels special. Sticking with familiar settings, because new environments can increase disorientation and pose safety concerns. Discard restaurants or relatives' houses in favor of your own home. Likewise, if holiday mass is still important to your loved one, consider how they can participate. For example, take your loved one to an earlier, less crowded service. If they cannot leave their home structure, watch a mass on TV or ask a clergy member to make a house call. Show pictures and discuss what is coming up prior to the arrival. Consider using name tags for all the guests. This can help reduce embarrassment for your loved one when they don't remember someone's name. And make sure there's a quiet place that your loved one can retreat to if things are becoming too loud or overwhelming for them. Avoid alcohol, which may cause depression and increase the risk of falls, and add to the loss of brain cells. Try to schedule holiday activities or visits earlier in the day before the potential for sundowning. Behavioral problems that typically occur towards dusk among those in the middle stages of dementia. The holidays are full of emotions, so it can help to let guests know what to expect before they arrive. If the person is in early stages of Alzheimer's, relatives and friends might not notice any of their changes, but the person with dementia may have trouble following the conversation or tend to repeat his or herself. Make sure family understands that they can help with communication by being patient, not interrupting or correcting, and giving the person time to finish his or her thought. If the person is in middle or late stages of Alzheimer's, there may be a significant change in cognitive abilities since the last time that an out-of-town friend or relative has visited. These changes can be hard to accept. Make sure visitors understand that changes in behavior and memory are caused by the disease and not the person. You may find this easier to share changes in a letter or an email that can be sent to multiple recipients prior to any of the holiday events. Maintain a casual conversational tone, and guests will call you if they have any questions or concerns before they arrive. You know, including our family in the day-to-day is important, because you can also find that sharing this information of changes with the relative that you're caring for, you have an opportunity to help other family members be included in these changes and in the solutions of what is coming up. Tips for decorating for the holidays. Decorations can still adorn your home, but in moderation. Remember that hauling out a lifetime of garlands, religious items, and wall decorations can cause clutter and overstimulation, which can intensify the disorientation and agitation. Be careful with decoration choices. Blinking lights may confuse or scare a person with dementia, and decorations that look like food could be mistaken as edible. Hang cheerful ones that recall memories and family traditions. And in preparing for the holiday celebration, do not rearrange furniture or create obstacles. Both are accidents waiting to happen. Tips for attending holiday events. So you have broken down the must-go-to engagement over the holiday seasons, and you guys are going to be leaving the house. So this is the type of environment that we're speaking of here. You want to take a comfort item and let your loved one choose the item to take with them. This could be a blanket or a book, a crossword puzzle, items that the relative can focus on or get comfort from if they start to become stressed out during an external holiday event. Be on the lookout for agitation. People dealing with dementia can sometimes become overwhelmed in a setting where there is a lot of activity or lots of people. If you see your elderly loved one showing signs of anxiety, politely excuse yourself and take the senior to a room with no people in it to help them calm down. Much like we explained to do for our guests coming to your home, send an email or have a conversation with the host to let them know of any special needs and prepare them for what to expect in terms of behavior. Explain odd quirks and perhaps share a humorous anecdote involving the senior to help put them at ease. Special needs may include finger foods, low noise or music level, brighter lights. Let family and friends know how much you appreciate their efforts to include the senior with dementia into the holiday celebrations. Tips for helping them participate. Select appropriate activities for your loved one at the holiday times. Be mindful of the individual's current mental condition to do special things that they can still appreciate. Involve them in some of the rituals, whether it is lighting the menorah, decorating the tree, or baking and decorating cookies. Try to spark memories by bringing out family photographs or holiday heirlooms. There are many manageable activities the person and you can do together, but here are some great examples. Wrapping gifts, bake a favorite holiday recipe together. The person can stir the batter or decorate the cookies. Set the table. Avoid centerpieces with candles and artificial fruits and berries that can be mistaken for edible snacks. Talk about events to include in a holiday letter. Prepare simple foods such as appetizers. Read cards you receive together. Look through photo albums or scrapbooks. Even now we can look at Facebook reminders of pictures and events we've had in the past. Reminisce about people in the pictures and past family events. You can watch a favorite holiday movie or sing favorite carols and read biblical passages. Lots of fun things. The next slide is going to be directive towards holiday travel. I do think we may not see as much of this as we are all being more cautious with traveling in regards to COVID. But we also know that we will not be in this place dealing with these things for an eternity. There will be an end. And these are some good tips for holiday travel, if not in this year, then in future ones as you're caregiving. Whether you're going to be taking a short trip or traveling a far distance, it is important to consider the difficulties and benefits of travel for a person with dementia. In the early stages of dementia, a person may very much still enjoy traveling. But as the disease progresses, travel may become too overwhelming. Take into account the need, abilities, safety, and the preferences of the person with dementia to determine the best mode of travel. Avoid busy and overstimulating places as much as you can. Plan ahead. Create an itinerary that includes details about each destination. Give copies to an emergency contact at home and keep a copy of your itinerary with you at all times. Changes in environment can trigger wandering, even for a person in the early stages. A new environment can be very difficult for them to navigate. Keep the person safe by taking precautions, such as enrolling in a program such as Safe Return. Have a bag of essentials with you at all times. That includes pharmacy, your travel itinerary, a comfortable change of clothes, water, snacks, and additional activities for that relative to be able to do. Be sure to have all up-to-date medical information and a list of emergency contacts. Photocopies of important legal documents, as well as ID items for both you and your loved one. Advising travel personnel, including hotel staff, with any special needs you may have. It is important to, even though those are temporary settings, but hotels, airplanes, airports, travel agencies can make all of your stops aware that you are traveling with a partner that has special needs, and they will be able to help you during those transitional periods of time. Travel during the time of day that works best for the person with dementia. If you know that they don't do well after, say, 5 o'clock at night, you're going to want to do the big bulk of that traveling and be settled before they get to that time of day. Stick with as much as you can that can be familiar. Travel to known destinations that involve as few changes in his or her daily routine as possible, and try to visit places that were familiar to the person with dementia before the onset of their disease. The past memories, they will hold on to longer than the new ones that they've made. There might be some changes that you should be sharing with your family members as you are focusing on giving gifts and gifts for the resident, the relative, as they are going through that shopping list. When giving presents, pick ones that are appropriate for someone with the disease. Instead of something material, try things that are simple, personal, and sentimental. For example, photographs and heirlooms provide the opportunity for that person to reminisce and being able to reminisce is a gift in itself. Encourage safe and useful gifts as the person with dementia. Diminishing capacity may make some gifts unusable or even dangerous for a person with dementia. If someone asks for gift ideas, suggest items the person with dementia needs or can easily enjoy. We have included a list of some good ideas here. An identification bracelet, magazines or books with large print, or ones that are mostly pictures, easy wear and care clothes, photo albums, stuffed animals or soft pillows, favorite music, lotions and toiletries, materials to sort. There's also cloth mats. Relatives may enjoy if you have any sewers or crafters in your family, they can make those with items for that relative to zip and unzip and button. They also crinkle for anyone that is more tactile in things that they enjoy. Old movies or videos, simple or familiar games are also some good ideas. For you as a caregiver, you can always get the gift of respite. Respite is when you would, as a caregiver, take a break in a sense. There are lots of options as far as in-home options. Here at Your Life of Wildwood, we also have respite options where someone would stay with us on a predetermined temporary basis, and it would provide the caregiver following that holiday season with a little bit of a break so that you can continue on caregiving. And having a gift certificate from family or friends for yourself to get yourself a massage or get your nails done, and also asking for the support of having them sit with your relative so that you are able to get out of the house and be able to go do those things. Something that can provide you with a bit of rest and relaxation. Important things to remember are don't let the added stress of the holidays get the best of you. Remember that it is a time for family and friends to gather together and enjoy. Focus on your positive things of life and be able to share this memory with future generations of your family. While our relative that has dementia may not have a memory of this, we gain so much by having memories with them. It's not the gifts or traditions that matter the most at the holidays. It's the feeling that any given moment you are loved.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Jessica. Yeah, if anyone has any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the chat and I'll ask them to Jessica. Yeah, so I'm just wondering, especially since, coronavirus is, impacting everyone right now, especially, do you have any thoughts about, if a caregiver trying to approach that situation where maybe the loved one that they're caring for is actually really excited about the holidays and, they're probably not doing as much right now?
Well, my big advice would be outside of COVID, outside of that restriction, is really focusing in on what is the best time of day And can any of those activities, a lot of family entertaining happens in the evening time. I mean, I can speak for us in my immediate family. We start at 6:30 with our children, and then it's breakfasts, lunches, and dinners. And oftentimes on Christmas Day, we're not done with the day until 9 or 10 o'clock at night. And being able to take a step back from that to say, yes, it's important that we see people, but knowing that it's okay if we don't. Or, as we discussed in the slideshow, break that up over a Christmas Eve party and then maybe a day after Christmas leftover party. You know, we all have that leftover. So taking the time to invite people into your own home, that the person that you're caring for has the ability to have a positive experience from that as well.
Great, thank you. So we have one question from Renee, and she says, do you have any recommendations to caregivers in understanding when they should not have their person travel? Too often I've heard about a trip that shouldn't have happened.
Well, honestly, you don't know that the trip shouldn't have happened until you took the trip. So I do see it a lot that family travel, and I think here in the Villages area, we do see it more. The idea of snowbirding or having a traditional home and then a winter home during the time that you don't want to be up north. That is normally one of the first indicators when I'm working with families that are discussing the possibility of using our community as a place for their loved one to live, is that we're working with spouses that are not equal in their cognitive ability. And one spouse wants to still travel and still experience those that quality of retirement, but they had a negative experience. You know, keeping things as traditional as possible, and having grace and patience with the one that you're caring for. And, you know, there are going to be probably moments and a lot of trips where you just kind of second guess the fact that we did this. But if you have a bad day, you just have to know, and you have to give yourself some grace that you don't know what you don't know. But now you have this experience and this is what we're going towards. You know, obviously, if you want to prepare where you're headed. So if you're planning on visiting with your kids or your grandkids, giving them preparation for what the special accommodations that need to happen for the person that's coming that does have dementia, keeping them informed, giving them an understanding of ways that this could go really well, or ways like, what does really bad look like? What does a bad day look like for dad now? And giving them a chance to be able to see it through your eyes and have your own perspectives. But you can't know that something's going to go wrong. You know, I think we all of us in the industry, both professionally and personally, we wish that we had, you know, dementia gave us an itinerary of when this was going to not be a great idea, but you often will not know those things until you're in it. But just be open to listening to the body language, to anxiety, and what are the person that you're caring for's triggers. And you just do the best you can. Like, that's all we can ever do, is do your best.
All right, well, thank you so much, Jessica. We appreciate you joining us and, you know, taking the time to talk about this topic, especially since it is such a timely topic, since the holidays are right around the corner. So, all right. Well, thank you, Jessica.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, have a good afternoon. All right.